Streaming from Oklahoma's own digital studio, this is Beyond the Forecast.
Welcome to this week's episode of Beyond the Forecast. So excited. We have Amy Castor here with us. Good morning to you.
Good morning. I'm so excited to be here. This is really exciting.
We're excited to have just a lengthy conversation with Amy. Get to know Amy even better. We've watched you for years and years and years. I met you, it's been 12, 13 years ago that
Yes.
I felt like I was meeting such a huge celebrity. And still, it's an honor to work with you and have you on the weather team.
Oh.
Our first podcast was with Amy's husband, Val.
Yes.
And now we're going to kind of get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, how exciting. Well, I remember when you came on, it was just so exciting to work with just such an exciting team, even from the beginning. But you just brought such an excitement and joy to the team. And of course, everybody loves Lacey in the morning. It's just wonderful because you are just a bright light, in the mornings. And that's always so exciting to watch you. And just, you really, I feel like you just make everybody's start to their day just exciting.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Well, thank you. I did not pay her to say that. That's amazing. Thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you for sure.
Well, for me, I'm not much of a morning person, so
Yeah.
I'm sure that it takes a special level of energy to
Caffeine.
get up and be happy all the time. But yeah, I mean, I'm inspired by you. So
Well, thank you. I want to share your story and share where you come from. I know you come from Mangum, Oklahoma.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about where
Yes.
Amy began and how you got this love for weather.
Sure. Well, I was actually born in Stillwater, but when I was about 2 years old, we moved to Mangum, and my family had a business down there. So most people who live in Greer County are either ranchers or farmers. My family was in the trucking business, and so it was a wonderful community, a small community. I loved growing up in a small town just because, you know everybody in your community, and there's generations of people there. And one thing that was, for me growing up, I was terrible at sports.
Okay.
And in small towns, you
That's
grow
the
up
thing.
and that's the
What do
thing.
you play? Yeah.
Yeah, but I was probably kind of like a nerdy kind of kid. And I loved outdoors. I just loved adventure. My dad was a pilot, my uncle, my grandpa, we had small airplanes with the business, and so I did a lot of flying with them growing up. So weather was really important with that aspect. Just, you have to know what the weather's doing at every level of the atmosphere. And I remember just my dad always being very interested in the weather and learning about the weather and always knowing what was going on, if he was going to fly or if we were going to go on a trip or whatever. So. But also, growing up in southwest Oklahoma, it's very conducive to droughts.
Yes.
And so everybody is always,
When's it gonna
like,
rain?
when's it going to rain? Our crops, are we going to have a crop this year? What is the weather going to do? And of course, you also have the flat, open plains out there where you can see the Texas Panhandle storms just come across the state.
Yeah.
And as a little girl, I just remember weather really was very impactful because, it was either non-existent with the drought, or you had this massive storm producing hail and lots of damage. And so it was always, very interesting to me. But I loved science. I loved math, and I loved, anything that had to do with computers or science. And so I wasn't big on the sports scene for sure. I was not the person that you would ask to be on your volleyball team, or
the coordination, maybe not the thing.
Yeah, for sure. But if you wanted somebody to sit next to in computer class, I might be that person. But I love computers, and so I remember as I got into high school and just trying to think about a career path. Back in those days, really trying to determine your career path was really important. And my parents both went to OSU, and so that was kind of like a given. I was going to go to OSU. And so I remember getting a full scholarship to OSU and trying to figure out.
That's amazing.
What do I want to do?
Yeah.
What do I want to do with my life? Because, I love adventure, I love science. And so I just got a lot of counsel from different teachers, decided to pursue electrical engineering technology at OSU. So that's what I did.
So that's what your degree is in?
Yeah, that's what I went to school for. And so, most people think that I went to meteorology school. But OSU didn't have a meteorology department, and, that's not, I just never really talked to anyone about becoming a meteorologist. And I guess when I thought about meteorology, I thought, well, what do you do with that?
Right.
If you're not going to be on television telling people about the weather, really what could that career path look like? So I don't think in the beginning it was really anything. I never dreamed that, wow, I could be a storm chaser someday. But I know that as I got into college and through the years there at OSU, I remember trying to figure out, what could I do with this? I mean, because there are so many career paths that you could take in engineering. A lot of my classmates were thinking about Raytheon, going to Dallas, going to Colorado, going to Microsoft in Washington, and that scared the daylights out of me. It really did. Just to be just this young girl going off and having, my own independent career really scared me. And I think too, when you think about as a young girl, I think, I always grew up thinking, but I still want to be a mom. I still want to be a wife. I still,
so how can I do both?
How can I do both? And I think really, when we think about careers at that age, you're 18 to 24 years old, you're really starting to think, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? And I know that it's a challenge for young ladies sometimes to think,
absolutely,
I'm really pushed to do a career, but also I want to contribute to a family and exist with that family unit and be impactful for my children. And I desired to have kids, and I desired to get married, and so those were struggles that I dealt with, I think, during those years, and just trying to figure out
priorities.
Yeah, how does all this play out in the long run? And then so just on a whim, I went and saw the movie Twister.
Okay, that's so awesome. As everyone did.
I know.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like the whole country went out and watched the movie Twister, and I was like, you can do that? Like, wow, here's this, lady who, she's out there doing all the things that look really fun and cool, electronic gadgets, and I was all about that. I mean, I worked for a company in Stillwater called Nomadics, and Nomadics was a company that did government contracts. So we worked on landmine detection systems.
Okay.
So I got to work on robots that would go out and sniff out landmines.
That's so cool.
Yes, and I got to work on water leak detection systems that would be useful to find water leaks in rusty pipes in Europe. Just so many fun, exciting projects like that. I thought, I started thinking, how could I use all these things that I'm learning and working with all these great people that have just invested in my life, learning, how to solder, all these electrical things. How could I apply that to weather? Because I love
you solder?
Weather. I can solder.
That's a big type of skill. Yes.
Yeah, I had a solder unit. I can make
solder
cables.
Currently? Do you fix the equipment in the truck?
Sometimes, yeah. I know how to use heat shrink and solder and flux and make cables. Yeah, and so there were many years years ago, I mean, that's one of my jobs, was making a lot of different types of cables for the engineers at Nomadics, and they would bring me schematics, and I'd build prototypes and have to make cables, and all that was really fun. It was exciting, but there were, Val probably told you during his podcast about how many trucks we've gone through.
Yes, absolutely.
Throughout the years. I mean, probably like 12 different trucks.
Yeah, he probably leads the country in his own vehicle storm chasing. Absolutely.
And so the incredible thing about that is, oftentimes it was a big emergency whenever we needed to go from one truck to the next, and it was always right during storm season, so we might have like literally 24 to 48 hours to rewire a new truck. And so we have memories of sticking the kids like in a little exerciser in the garage while they're screaming their heads off, and Val and I are like wiring up the truck, putting all the equipment in, and building up a new truck. And so, you know, whether it was, you know, an engine issue or whatever, sometimes we had to make that transfer because you have no idea just how much equipment goes into a truck. I mean, we go through inverters like crazy, just all the different electronics we have in there. The load we put in there, yes. So
you worked for this company doing the nerdiest of nerdy things. Truly the brains behind the operation. So amazing. I love that so much. And then somehow got into the storm chasing world. So you went and watched the movie Twister. How does it go from watching it to be watching a storm chaser and thinking, wow, I want to do that, to actually doing it for a career?
So, you know, like I said, OSU didn't offer meteorology classes. So I went to Edmond Low Library one summer when I was taking summer classes, and I checked out every weather book I could possibly find in that library.
I love that.
And I would sit outside and just read through those books in my lawn chair outside my apartment, and just started learning about climatology and, you know, tornadoes and weather, and it just fascinated me. And I started thinking, you know, wow, I wish I could do this. And so I started storm chasing on my own. I had a little GMC Jimmy, and I had a little CB, and I can't tell you, like, I almost wanted some fake antennas just to look real.
Like the part.
I mean, I thought, wow.
What year was this?
This was 1997. Okay.
That's
1997.
amazing.
So I thought, like, if I could drive down the road and I had 2 or 3 antennas, everyone would know I was a storm chaser. Like, I thought that was really cool. And then so I thought, you know what? I grew up watching Gary England. I always heard the beeps on TV. I always saw when Greer County or Harmon County, Jackson County on the map was lit up. That was so exciting.
Absolutely.
We were the ones that would stand on the front porch and watch to see if storms were coming. And you know, we didn't have a storm shelter. I mean, I can remember going to the bathtub a couple of times, but most of the time we were on the porch watching. But I can tell you that Gary England, in my mind, was just always the legend of weather. And so I thought, I'm going to go to the best. I'm going to send an email. I'm going to try to send an email. Don't know if it'll ever go through, but I'm going to see if they have an internship or something that I could do or learn. You know, I had a great academic advisor, OSU, Dr. Knuckles. He was just like, you know, communication is key, reaching out to people, learning.
Networking.
That's networking. That's how you're going to learn, is just communicating with people and learning from the best. And I thought, you know, Gary England, he was the best at weather at the time. And so a couple of weeks went by, maybe a month, didn't hear anything. I still worked at Nomadic, so that was fine. But then I got a call one day, and it was Susan Gear.
Yes.
And she said, "Hello, Amy. I just wanted to talk to you for a little bit." And I mean, my heart just started racing. Like, she was like, "Yeah, I was talking to Gary. We had this conversation, and you know, you are interested in weather." And we talked, and she said, "You know, we don't have any internships, but we do have Val Castor, who's our senior storm chaser, and you know, he would probably be interested in talking to you." And,
oh my gosh.
And I was like, whoa. And I had just watched a documentary on Channel 9 where they did an interview with him, and you know, he was sitting down talking about some of the chases he had been on, and I was like, I mean, I grew up watching Val, so and I remember hearing Val on TV, and so wow, I was really nervous about that. Like, I was like, what?
I know.
And so, so Val and I met, and it was funny because he said, well, I don't really have any projects other than, you know, for my business, Castor Weather, it would be great to have a website. And I would love to have a place to put all of my weather videos online. And that's back when the internet was super new. Like,
very forward thinking, Val. Yes.
We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have
Facebook.
Yeah, we didn't have Facebook or social media. Really, the internet was very sparse. There wasn't much there.
Or dancing babies. And
And so really just that concept of being able to put all of our video out there to where maybe people could view it was interesting, and I thought, wow, that'd be great. Didn't realize how hard that was going to be. That was back in the day where you actually had to code everything yourself. You couldn't just upload a file, like you had to write the HTML. It was really it was a lot more complicated. Well, I had to learn. I was like, whatever it takes, I'm going to learn how to figure this out. Most of the coding I had to do was like for electronic stuff, not like internet stuff. And so I'm pretty sure I was very bad at it, and I'm not sure if I even fulfilled what his goal was in mind, because it quickly went from this friendship to exchanging video. And instead of paying me for my services, he would take me out to dinner.
Nice! Smart man.
Yeah, so that is how a lot of our relationship started, was this friendship of, you know, I would watch the videos, I would, you know, try to create this website, and still to this day, I'm not sure that website really even existed. I was just so enthralled at going through all the video and trying to convert it digitally to where we could actually do something with it. And even today, if you go to our YouTube channel, you can see a lot of those old videos.
Right, I love it. Your library is amazing.
Yeah, and not all of it is even there, but there was a time, probably back when I had a little more time, maybe back in 2005, 2007, I spent quite a bit of time converting everything from either the high 8 tapes or VHS and converting it digitally where we could put it online. But so that was really the beginning, and we formed a wonderful friendship, and had so much in common, just our love and passion for weather, and really started thinking, wow, I think this could, you know, be a great partnership, both personally and professionally. So. Yeah.
And we're so blessed that it did work out, because my goodness, you guys are so amazing together. So what year did you get married?
We got married in 1999. So we started chasing together in 1998. Okay. So I would say back in June of 1998 is when I really began. I was storm chasing on my own, and it's so funny because Val a couple of times would have to come and rescue me out of the ditch. He was like, you should not be doing this on your own. Like, what is this young girl out there in her little GMC Jimmy doing, chasing storms? It was probably not the smartest thing to do. I had no idea what I was doing. So obviously, you find people that know what they're doing, and you follow them.
Yes.
We get requests like that all the time. Absolutely. And we're like, please don't follow us. Please, that's dangerous. But anyway, so he let me follow him on a couple of chases. Rob Satkus was his partner at the time. So that was absolutely incredible in my mind. I thought, wow, I'm going to get to do this. And last night, it was probably like 11 o'clock at night, I was going through my big bin of storm chaser memorabilia, and I found pictures, 5x7 pictures I printed from that first chase day.
Are you serious?
It was wonderful, because like it was all horrible pictures.
Absolutely. But
they weren't, off an iPhone or anything like that. They were from a little camera, and I actually had to send the film in and wait 2 weeks for it. But the crazy thing was it was the first tornado that I really got up close to, and I was following Val, and it was an anticyclonic tornado up by, I don't know, it was northwest Oklahoma by Nash or Alene, one of those towns up there, and it was anticyclonic, and it was just in a field right in front of us and just kicking up dirt, and I mean, it was just absolutely thrilling.
Yeah. And what you had dreamed of.
What I had dreamed of. And then my wheels and my brain just started spinning, thinking, wow, how can we do this better? How can we do this more productively? And of course, at that time, getting information back to the station was a challenge. I mean, we were limited with technology. Yeah. At the time, we had cutting edge technology for what we had at the time. We were uptown. But, that dream of, wow, wouldn't it be incredible to someday be able to take this video and be able to present it to people live on air, and, just that dream of being able to one day give a better warning system to people. And but through the years, it just really, it's improved greatly. I look back now at how we started and what we have to work with now, and it's incredible. It just, always gets better and better. And
are you still doing that? Are you still looking for what's better, what's next?
Oh, of course.
Always
yes.
looking ahead of the newest technology
Oh,
and on the cutting edge?
Yes. And, you know, just I feel like right now it's wonderful because with social media and the internet, we have so many ways to broadcast live, and just, you know, getting people to really trust what we're doing. And,
sure.
And we strive to be just so truthful and calm, and you know, it's not always a calm environment.
You guys get in situations that are the opposite of calm.
Oh, absolutely.
Quite often, yeah.
And it's very hard, but we want people to be able to trust that the information we're giving is true and honest and beneficial. And of course, we can't be on every storm during an event. That's why being part of a team is so incredible, because you have a network of chasers that are contributing to the same cause, and we're able to work together. And I think if we were just a one-man operation, that would not be fun at all. I mean,
how could your storm could die and the one, you know, 30 miles takes off,
and then you're useless. Right. So being a part of a team that collaborates, and we're always striving for excellence. That's what I love about News 9 is not only do you have this idea, but you execute it in a way that is professional and well done. And I think that's why, you know, we lead in weather, because, you know, people have trusted that concept over time. It's wonderful.
And you and Val were such an integral part in building that brand.
Yeah.
So you guys got
so
married.
Humbling.
It's very true. And now you're a mama, you're a grandma.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit just about your family, your personal life? Because when I met Amy, she was pregnant.
Yes.
Who would that have been? Who would that have been?
Well,
this would have been like 2009.
2009, so I would have been expecting Jack at that time. So yes, so Jack, he just turned, well, actually, no, 2009 would have been Mary.
Okay, there's so many. That's the thing.
6 kids.
You were pregnant for a very long time.
Yes. So yes, 2006 would have been Jack. 2009 would have been Mary. 2011 would have been Jesse.
Okay.
All of those years, I'm thinking of large tornadoes I chased when I was expecting those children.
And that's what I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course.
when I was pregnant 2 times here, car sick, I would get motion sickness like crazy. Did you experience that? What was it like? I mean, did you chase right up until you delivered? What were some of those experiences like?
Yeah. I've never been car sick.
Oh my gosh,
mean, I'm the kind of person that can ride roller coasters and things and not be affected. Now, I would say in the last 5 years, that is different.
Okay, it changed a little.
I have ridden a few roller coasters and I'm like, wow, it's not quite the same. But I will say that's not really something I ever struggled with.
Good, that's amazing. How you would do it and
I know,
chase.
I look back, it's crazy to me to think that, you know, here I was, this young pregnant girl out, you know, storm chasing. Like, that is really not very smart.
It's incredible. It's so unique. It's so unique.
You know, I didn't think twice about it.
Sure.
Val and I just did what we did, and it was exciting and fun, and I didn't have a lot of motion sickness or really a lot of I mean, I would get tired, obviously.
Yeah.
And I remember back in 2011, we were tracking that F5 tornado that crossed I-40, hit Piedmont. I was about 7.5, almost 8 months pregnant with Jesse. And I remember that day we were on a very bumpy road south of I-40. You know, the roads out there are pretty rough. And thinking, wow, I should not be here right now.
Probably not.
This is absolutely crazy. You know, but when you have such a passion, such a drive to do something that you love, you know, nothing stops you. And I always just would follow the lead of my husband. You know, if he was okay with it, then I could rest and say, okay, I'm
protect you.
doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and never felt a reservation about it. So yeah.
And that's inspiring to so many people. I mean, it really is, because not only do you find a way, I mean, you work and you do these incredible things, but you put other people's needs first. I mean, you were out there to warn the public. That's what you were doing. While you have this precious baby that you're protecting, but you were also protecting so many others. How did you juggle that? Or well, you still do it, but especially when your babies were younger, how did you juggle being a mom and chasing for, I mean, how many hours you guys would be in the car? 12, 14, 16 hours. And you've got babies at home, and you at the drop of a hat, you're out the door.
For sure. I mean, being organized in my life was very important. Just having this schedule that I could be flexible, and whether it was a little side job or whatever, I didn't continue working for Nomadics after I had my first child, just so that I would have the flexibility to be a full-time mom, as well as, you know, still contribute to the job here at News 9. And so for me, that was a priority and a wonderful privilege that I could still stay home and be a full-time mom. But during storm season, I had a lineup of babysitters. Okay, so I mean, that was a challenge in itself, but you know, I remember just praying, Lord, if you could just, you know, make this work to where, you know, it's not a burden. I felt like if it was ever a burden or too much of a challenge, then it probably wouldn't be worth it. But I always had so many people willing and able to just step up to the plate. They wanted to just take care of our kids, and we had a wonderful church family that was always able to step up and help, and babysitters, and sometimes I would have 3 or 4 lined up on a given day just based on their schedules. You know, if we were out 16, 20 hours, you know, it was important to have that covered, because I mean, sometimes they were newborns, and sometimes they were, you know, there were 6 of them at a time, and just so those years were a challenge. But I look back and I have no regrets. I look and think about just how much we learned about weather through the years, and our kids just have a passion for weather as well.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't know that any of them just have this huge desire to be a storm chaser, but boy, they can tell you all about weather for sure.
I'm sure they can. It has to be the conversation all the time in your house. You also homeschooled, so this working mom doing this job that's so incredibly dangerous, but yet you're so amazing at it with your partner. And then you would come home and also you homeschooled. Can you talk a little bit about just your day-to-day?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so we had a pretty rigid schedule as far as, you know, when you homeschool, you have different grade levels, and as they grew, you know, they're all about 2 years apart, so 2 years apart in school. So there were times that when my older children were doing, you know, junior high school classes, I was still teaching the babies how to read. And I mean, you might be teaching ABCs and then, you know, calculus or, you know, those type of harder subjects in high school. And so that was a challenge for sure. It's a lot easier now. My youngest is 14. And as Val maybe told you in his podcast, they started a business, a land clearing, mowing business, and so a lot of their homeschool time is out in the garage working on mowers, learning hands-on, and a lot of our curriculum is online, which is very helpful. But I would say in the early days, it was, you know, worksheets and all of that. Lots of worksheets. And I still have copies of all of them in my attic. So, you know, it's just like, I thought if a tornado ever hits our house, it's going to look like this massive paper explosion.
It's a school.
But yeah, we have a massive school, pre-K to, you know, 12th grade in my attic. So
that's amazing.
So yeah, a lot of learning, a lot of hands-on. And what I loved so much about homeschooling was the flexibility of it. Also being able to just really allow my children to invest their time in areas that were beneficial to them and their personalities and their gifts. I mean, each of them are different.
Absolutely.
And originally when I started homeschooling, I thought I could have this little cookie cutter program that would be, perfect for all of them, passed down. That's why my attic is full, because that is so not true. Each one has a different personality. Some are music inclined, some are more artistic, some were a little more academic in the sense of loving math and science. So, it's a wide range.
Yeah.
Within my kids, they're not all created the same.
Sure.
And it was great because some of them we could invest a lot of time in music lessons, and some enjoyed sports, and I just, those years were just so precious, and they continue to be precious. We still have 4 kids at home.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I mean,
and 2 grandbabies.
And we have 2 grandbabies now.
What do your grandbabies call you? What will they call you?
Well, for now it's Granny.
Okay.
But
Granny,
it's funny
Amy.
because they're not talking yet, so who knows?
Sure.
I could be Bobo or Lala. You never
Yes.
know what they're going to end up calling me. Val is very old school, very traditional. He's
Right.
like, I'm Grandpa, and the whole idea of being called Grandma was like, I don't know about
see
that.
yourself as-
I don't see myself as a grandma. I was like, I'll be Lolly and you be Pop.
Yeah,
Lolly.
that's really
He's like,
cute.
no, that's trendy.
We got to be traditional.
We're going to be all traditional. But anyway, for now it's Granny.
Okay.
So
Subject to change.
it's subject to change. You never know. But
Family is such a huge portion of what you do.
Yes.
Faith is such a huge portion of what you do.
Absolutely,
When
yeah.
you're out there on a chase and you get into these crazy environments, talk about some of the craziest moments where, I mean, you're dealing with life and death. Sometimes you're watching life be taken in front of you. You've witnessed that. You've seen that
Absolutely.
happen when you come behind these storms. Kind of talk about what goes through when the storms are really destructive and you're right there, because you've seen it hundreds of times.
Right. I mean, as we've talked about in the past, when we first began, it was all about just the excitement of learning, storm chasing, what it is, and it was kind of a new concept.
Sure.
Really. The movie Twister, when it first came out, really. There's been storm chasers for years and years through different, like the National Weather Service storm spotters, but really this idea of storm chasing for a television station, and all of that was new and developing, and so I would say that through the years, that whole thing of getting to that point where we transitioned from, oh wow, this is just fun and cool, to this is a serious endeavor where lives are at stake. And we really experienced that May 3rd of 1999.
Yep.
It was about 1 month before our wedding, so this was really before I really had a whole lot of experience storm chasing. So I really dove in hard, if you want to put it that way, because went from chasing just some real weak tornadoes to, wow, one of the most deadly tornadoes on the planet. And so that experience really set the course for moving forward, just the importance of a good warning system, and I believe the city of Moore, the city of Oklahoma City, really learned a lot from that experience, just in their emergency response and how to react in those situations, because all of that was new and different for all of us. But I think now our purpose and our passion now is more personal, just because we've been through that. I mean, when you are first on the scene and there's no emergency response around you, and you realize that is an important endeavor at that moment to go into search and rescue mode. We've been in that situation a few times, and it hits you emotionally. At least for me, for men out in the field, they're wired a little differently,
and they're very goal oriented.
Very goal,
It's
they're very streamlined in their emotions, and can kind of set their emotions aside a little bit easier probably than women. For me, I have learned through the years to really try to set my emotions aside, but there are times when we're out and get in that situation where it's overwhelming, and oftentimes in the video, you can hear me, really talking to Val and trying to be, he calls me his voice of reason.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, just because, like you said, they're very driven and very just streamlined with their emotions. But sometimes I have to remind him, hey, at the end of the day, we need to be in one piece.
Sure, more of the human element is
yes,
what you bring. Yeah.
Yes, or hey, we need to really, step back, think about what's important here, because in emergency situations, with the emotions that come with it, you make rash decisions sometimes,
sure.
or decisions that you have to respond quickly. And so anyway, I guess I feel like as far as, being a team, Val and I work well together because we kind of balance that. He's kind of like, he's kind of like a hunting dog. He sees what he's after, and boy, he goes for it.
He sniffs it out better than anybody. Yeah, yeah.
And there's no stopping him, And for me, I think about all these things, maybe the bigger picture, and so I feel like we balance each other out well. So sometimes I look back at video and I'm like, man, I sound like I'm whining. Like I'm back there like, Val, back up,
yes.
Back up. I'll watch the promos for News 9. I always hear that one, back up, Val.
But it was true. Everyone watching that is thinking, Val, you gotta
really,
you gotta back up.
Yeah, you see these things exploding in front of you, like
Sure.
the shed, that one scene where we're coming up on the tornado, 2013. It's about to hit Plaza Towers, and this house, the whole roof comes off right in front of us, and I'm like, wow, Val, you've got to back up. So, really video, when you see it, you're only seeing this small picture.
Sure.
When you're out there and you're in it, you've got the whole perspective.
That's such a great point.
And it's very, very different in the field than what you see on video. And so yeah, it can really get you going for sure. It can really make your emotions go high there for a while. So the adrenaline gets pumping, and and of course, there have been times when we've had to get out, do search and rescue, and that adrenaline is what gets you going and pushes you through. You don't really think about the dangers around you, and you can go back later and look and say, wow, that was pretty dangerous. But we've always trusted that God is going to direct our path. He's going to really show us where we're supposed to go and what we're supposed to do. And we just, like you said, our faith is really the driving force behind what we do. It's our calling, and we take it seriously. We don't ever go out on a day and not just go before the Lord in prayer and just say, Lord, use us how you want to use us. Send us where you want to send us. Let us be effective. Let us be a great team member. Don't let us be selfish or do what we want to do. Let us be part of a team that makes a difference. Those are aspects of our job that, really trusting that God is the driving force behind it. It always has been. Yeah. And for us personally, that's just so important to us, just to trust that.
And that comes across.
And I hope it does, because in and of ourselves, we're unable to do anything. And I really feel like without God's help, we couldn't be successful. And that's what we truly believe as a couple, as a married couple, that what we do is really just a reflection of God's plan for us. And, it just would just do my heart good to know that in the future that, He'll just keep guiding and directing, and that wherever He wants to put us, we feel like this is what we've been created for. And if it makes a difference, that's what's important to us. And of course, being on television, that's not really something I've always felt comfortable with.
Right.
It's not a comfortable thing knowing a lot of people are watching, and and we all have insecurities and things like that. And
But we know your presence. That's what I love so much and respect so much about you. You hear Val talking.
Yeah.
But we know that those decisions, we know a lot of that is coming from you. And he's very open about that. You
Yeah.
know, we give him grief for it all the time. Like, oh, you got in the right spot. Clearly because of Amy. And
we
Amy's
don't always
brains.
agree.
No,
I'll
don't.
tell you, we don't always agree on turn left, turn right.
Sure.
You'll hear us in our video, you know, I'm like, I think you should go east. No, we're going to go west. And he'll just peel out and go west. And that's fine. I mean, ultimately, I feel like he always makes the best decision. But being, you know, his sidekick for all these years, being that second set of eyes, it has been just a phenomenal experience and just such a privilege. I mean, I feel like it's just been the greatest job in the whole world, just to be able to do what we do and contribute in such a powerful way. And I just think it's going to get better over time.
What would you say, kind of in closing, because we could and should talk for many more hours. You have such a wealth of knowledge. We didn't really even get into any of the stories or any of your individual tornado chases, which we're going to have to do at a later date.
Of course.
But what would you say to young girls, you know, now, because you are that. I mean, you are inspiring to so many kids in general, not just girls. But what would you say to kiddos who are thinking, man, that's a really cool job. I want to do that. Do I have what it takes?
Of course. You know, I always tell young girls, you know, really don't ever think that you have to have a mindset of, I'm going to be independent and do my own thing. Like, it's okay to, as a girl, to want to be married and to, you know, but also at the same time to have a career. And I feel like you can do both. And there are seasons of life where you're going to have times where you are you're able to have a career more so, but you know, if there are seasons where you need to stay home and not be so involved, that's okay too. I feel like I had the best of both worlds. I was able to have a husband that I could work with and spend time with in the field, also be a stay-at-home mom and homeschool my kids. So really that's a very rare thing, but I feel like, you know, don't always be consumed with this mindset that, you know, your career path has to be this, you know, one goal in mind, that it can be flexible, that seasons change. You can have the best of both worlds and not just always have this independent idea that you're you know, got to do everything on your own. That having a family and getting married someday doesn't have to be a burden. But you can actually enjoy that aspect of life, but have a career that is exciting and you can have goals like that.
Well, you're an inspiration because you do that better than anyone I know. You juggle so many things at the same time.
It's hard to have, it's definitely hard to have a good balance. Balance is very important for all of it, but you know, that's always the challenge every day, trying to figure out, prioritize your life and
how you're going to be at News 9 at 7:30 in the morning to do a podcast and still live your life. Well, we appreciate you so much. This has been so much fun. And we're going to talk much more at a later date because we got to get more into the storm chases.
Of course. We have so many stories about tornadoes and things like that. So we'll have to talk again for sure.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Beyond the Forecast. We hope you tune in next week because David is sitting down with Val Castor. Sure to be something. Something.
I'm sure they'll have a lot of tornadoes to talk about for sure.
Yes. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.